What's up, everybody? This is WTTL. Welcome to the League Sports Show and Podcast. This is the season finale of our first season, which, like most first seasons, are shorter in episodes than the next season. I got the best co-host here and co-founder of this show, Mr. Ezra.
Man,
How are you doing, good sir?
what's going on, Beanie? Um, man, yeah, this has been a season and a half. We've had some pretty cool situations, some sad moments, some happy moments, and not all football related.
Definitely.
But yeah, you know what? I'm glad we're a year in. I think we're a year in, and I'm pretty happy that we started this thing, man. Um, had some pretty awesome things to happen, and so I'm going to start this off with this. When we started this podcast, excuse me, this sports show, there were things that we called out. I'm trying to remember how we called things out, but we have this segment called "You Called It," and so I guess we'll start off there with preseason. Like when we first started this show, there was something that you just kept harping on, kept barking, woo 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 woo. You know, this was you on a regular basis, and I'm like, this dude is crazy. And a lot of other people said this dude is crazy too. And that is, you said that the Philadelphia Eagles, and you guys can go back and search through the first, I want to say like the first 4 or 5 podcasts that we posted on Spotify or either your YouTube. Either way, you can go and just check those out. And I kid you not, I thought the man was crazy, but he called the Philadelphia Eagles as the favorite to win the NFC. This was prior to, well, let's see, I want to say it was maybe post uh,
Post
big
draft.
trades, post draft,
It was post draft. It was right
pre
after we got off
OTA.
the. It was right after we got off the live stream, of the draft where the when I found out that AJ Brown had got traded to the Eagles. In that
Bruh,
moment, I told you and my dad that it was going to be the Eagles.
man, when I tell you this dude has been crying this all year, and it's not just the AJ Brown trade; it's just everything that they did later on in the season. They picked up more defensive weapons with like Ndamukong Suh, and Ndamukong Suh is still drawing uh, some of the same attention that he's drawing when he was in Detroit, when he was in Tampa, when he was in Los Angeles playing with the Rams. You know, regardless of who he played with, he's going to draw the attention that he draws. But nonetheless, he's still a key component to a defense that is showing that they can hang with some of the best teams in the NFL. And now, because of that, they are now in the Super Bowl. And like I said, this segment, you called it. You called it, bro. You called it. I mean, like I said, we called you crazy, but you called the Eagles as Super Bowl contenders. And, you know, I'm thinking that it was going to be like uh, Minnesota was going to be there. I thought that, of course, we thought that Tom Brady had retired, but when we found out he was coming back,
He retired again.
we thought that it was going to be, yeah. So he retired, but neither here nor there, man. Oh, of course, we did not know that the Rams were going to they didn't take a skid or a slide. They just fell off. And it was big injuries and all that stuff. But even with all that news, you still hung on the Eagles will be in the Super Bowl. You always stayed on the Eagles, the Eagles, the Eagles. And the NFC East turned out to be like one of the biggest surprise divisions in all of football
Yeah, nobody
because
saw that happening.
yeah, no. I mean, there was a possibility that all 4 teams could make the postseason and 3 of the 4 did. And it was like, wow. But like I said, going back to it, you call the Eagles, man. So, like, just talk about some of the things that you saw outside of the AJ Brown trade, but just like some of the things that you saw that like kind of stuck out. I know we're not experts like some of these other people are, but we love football. So just talk about that a little bit, dude.
Well, the AJ Brown trade is like the biggest part of it, but Then when the schedule released, the Eagles had one of the easiest schedules in the league during the schedule release, and not taking anything from them, they just still had to play those games. And then the way that when you saw it preseason, how Jalen, you could tell when the season started that Jalen Hurts had completely changed his mindset towards football, and that he was going to be the man, and he was going to put that team on his back and do something with it, and he sure did. But that the Devontae Smith doing really good this year. The running backs, there's running back by committee where I think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it. I think Jalen Hurts might have been the leading rusher on that team this season. Um, so it was a series of things that just happened. Not for a second that I don't think the Eagles fans or myself even questioned that the Eagles were going to be where they were at to now. But I mean, it's just paying attention to the little things, the little details.
Yeah. You brought up something about strength of schedule, and I went to just like check a couple of things to see where they were, and you see NFC wise, I'm looking at, and this is per sharp football analysis. They have um, the Chiefs with the toughest strength. The second, and the Rams did have the second strength of schedules, uh, even at the end. But like at the beginning of the season, I want to say they were first or second anyway. But the Chiefs are first. The Rams were second in the toughest schedules, and we saw what happened. Now, with that being said, with the Eagles, they had the second easiest. They had the second easiest strength of schedule. But then as the season progressed, I really don't think it was like all that easy because Dallas started coming on. San
No,
Francisco started coming on. Um, like all these different teams they had to play. The Giants, we didn't expect the Giants to play the way that they did. Didn't expect Washington to start having and this and I'm saying
trending
with
in the
them,
right direction like they are.
yeah, you didn't expect Washington to start coming on, but then their rookies started kicking in where their veterans might have fell short. Like it was a surprise to see, and it was a breath of fresh air to see that despite inconsistent quarterback play, where it was saying that where people weren't necessarily playing, like it was it Heineke that they had.
Yeah.
He got injured. Wentz got injured. And so you started seeing Jahan Dotson doing his thing. You started seeing Brian Robinson do his thing. And these guys are rookies, and you got the McLarens and everybody on the team, but like I said, Washington started coming on at like around the right time of season to make everybody kind of shiver a little bit, and they went on a tear for a second, and you thought, wait a minute, the NFC East is
They're the
about to
ones
shake
that beat the Eagles the very first time.
right, and so what does that do for your morale when you beat the eventual Super Bowl contender for the whole NFC? What does that do for you? And then you get, like I said, the clashes between the Cowboys and the Eagles this season were like straight epic to for the most part. I'm gonna say for the most part. Um, which I think um the best game that I saw. What was the best game with the Eagles in it? Didn't they have a game where it was it the Eagles in Dallas where they were down and had to come back and beat Dallas? Or
I'm not sure.
who did they play?
It might have been the.
Well, either way, all I know is that the whole East situation just turned out to be something that,
I know they
like,
split.
bruh. And I know we have these allegations from Arian Foster, who is one of the best running backs I think to ever play the game,
I
to
love
say
those
that the
memes.
NFL is scripted and things of that nature, that everybody runs through a script. But I do believe this. I do believe that there are scripted plays that everybody has that they feel like they could probably run to get a game started. But I do still believe that the NFL is And I know we're covering a couple of things, but we're still talking about the Eagles. But I do believe that there are plays that every coach runs that are scripted that says, let's see how this goes these first few series. And if it works, we're going to keep rolling with this. I don't think anybody just kind of like bows or bends to say, we're going to lose this game unless it's tank season because you're trying to position for draft picks. I do believe that happens.
Oh yeah,
I do
next
believe that
you're gonna
teams
see it next
that
season.
they
Mark
actually
my
tank.
words, you'll see it next season.
Yes, I do believe teams actually tank to now with that being said, I think that's about the extreme of the whole situation. But to say that the NFL is just like totally rigged in games, they know who's gonna win. If they do, that's shame on you. But
I,
at the
I
same time,
I don't
put
doubt
so much
that the
on
NFL is
on
rigged
the
in some
field,
capacity.
but that's sports. And of course, you throw
All
Vegas in
sports are
there,
rigged.
the whole nine. But if that's the case, if Vegas, and maybe that's the reason why you get a Calvin Ridley that is a Calvin
Yeah,
Ridley that
Calvin
is
really got the script said he was going to be suspended all
disciplined,
season.
disciplined the way that he got disciplined in lieu of all of the domestic disputes and everything that was going on at the beginning of the season with different players. So neither here nor there. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next year with Jacksonville. But bruh, like I said, the whole Eagles situation, you called it. You called it, man. And that strength of schedule, that's something big. That was huge that you just said. Seriously.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree that I don't think the NFL is scripted. They might have some like shady stuff go on
Oh yeah,
sometimes,
most
like
definitely.
Bounty Gate
Belichick is usually part of it.
or Belichick
Oh
deflating
well, you
balls and spying on people.
you brought up Bill Bounty Gate. I wasn't gonna say anything about the Saints, dude. I wasn't gonna say anything about the Saints.
But I
Um,
mean,
and I
there's
mean,
no doubt there's shady stuff, but
you can
not
even
real.
bring back the NFC, the 2018 NFC Championship game between the Rams and Saints. You know,
That was rigged.
that was not rigged. It was just one of those. It was
The
just
Rams
one of
paid that
those
referee not to
things
make that call.
that no, the Rams did not. Even though the guy was from LA. Oh,
All right. So it is the end of the season. So we're going to talk about a few things, and we're going to get down to it. The NFL honors is, I want to say next weekend, right before the Super Bowl.
I think they got the
Yes,
Eppies this
Thursday
week.
night before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So here's the thing. All right, you got the MVP, which should be basically called Quarterback of the Year award. Because I'm looking at the finalists
Cameron's
for
trying to
MVP,
fall
and
on me.
4 out of the 5 finalists for MVP are quarterbacks.
Always. And
And
I think that's dumb.
it's the same quarterbacks you always see in there because they're the generation quarterback now, especially with Tom
Aaron
Brady
Rodgers, and I'm not
retiring.
even looking at what you're looking at. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
No,
Who else?
they're not even in it.
What?
The
That's
MVP finalists
whoa.
are Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes.
I'm digging that. I'm digging that.
I don't
I'm
know.
digging
I
that.
mean, I'll be honest, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win it, but I would like Joey B to win it. I think he
You know
showed
what?
enough.
I'm gonna argue. I'm gonna argue with you on that one.
I think
I
Joe Burrow
say
showed more this year than well, I don't know, not really.
no, no, no. I'm gonna throw this out there. So we've been talking about Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers all, and I know that you probably like you had Aaron Rodgers hate. Aaron Rodgers does not make stars.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Patrick Mahomes should win it for I'm gonna say 3 reasons. One, he has the right coach in place, and I'm not saying other players don't have the right coach, but he has the right coach, right system in place for him to succeed.
Yeah.
And that same coach, Andy Reid, has been around for a minute. And I know some coaches get to a point to where they're either stagnant or they're dinosaurs and they don't evolve with the game. But Andy Reid doesn't seem to be that person. Andy Reid will run a fullback, he'll run a tight end, he'll run, whatever the formations are, he'll see what personnel he has, whether I don't know, man. It's like whatever his personnel set is, that's what he uses. And that brings me to the second thing is that because of the system, and I'm in no form or fashion calling Patrick Mahomes a systems uh
Oh no,
quarterback. I'm not calling him that. I'm
Patrick
saying
Mahomes
that
makes
that
stars now.
because of the personnel that he has behind him, they take the system and tweak it in order for him to work with it. And because he's able to adapt to the system or the people around him,
Yes,
he's
that's what I was
able
about to
to,
say.
execute in a particular way that he can, that he does. And then the third reason is because of the personnel change within itself, is because he lost Tyreek Hill that can run past lightning almost to, and I say almost because I'm not literal, it's
Yeah.
metaphorically
Oh,
speaking,
I agree, and
but
that's exactly what
but
I
he
was gonna say.
loses you lose the personnel that you have, and you're still able to go out there and play at a high level. And then this is where you throw in the comparison of Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes in a similar situation. He loses the quarterback. Loses the wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes loses the wide receiver. He still has a coach that can work the system to fit him. But you got one person barking at everybody else, talking about if somebody could just catch or if somebody could get open, so on and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. How about this? Extend the play, Aaron Rodgers. Extend the play like Patrick Mahomes extends plays, or like Josh Allen extends plays. How about you become the person that can, and I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers doesn't do these things, but on a consistent basis, you see Aaron Rodgers and you see a Josh Allen and some of these other quarterbacks do these things in order to allow their uh, personnel to get open, to find space, to do whatever
They're not
outside of the system.
statues.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I say Patrick Mahomes. I don't see it as a bad thing for him winning. So
I
yeah,
agree. Like I mean, while Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts have made really good arguments to be MVP, and I think those are like the next two next to Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes has done more for the simple fact that you lost your number wide receiver, and then your number wide receiver went from Tyreek Hill to Juju Smith and McCole Hardman. So you went slot guys
yeah.
became your number one, and you
And
still
Harvey
went to the
got
Super
Harvey
Bowl.
got injured. You're flipping running backs. They went from what McKissick to
To running back by
Pacheco
committee.
to yeah. And the committee got big for a second.
Yeah.
For a second, the committee got big. I think it was like four different running backs on a consistent basis from week to week. Like one sometimes McKissick was hot. Sometimes Pacheco was hot. What was my other guy?
Edwards
Was it
Hilaire was high at the
Edwards?
beginning of the season before he
Yeah,
got hurt.
Hilaire disappeared. He was
He got hurt.
uh slides thin air. Yeah. So that's the thing though. It's like you got all this inconsistency. So he's helping. He's adapting to the system and the personnel or lack thereof. And still they're in the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
And this has been consistently him since he's gotten in the league. But yeah, since he
Yeah.
came to the league.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no argument Patrick Mahomes is number one
Yeah.
quarterback right now in the NFL with Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen right there on his tails.
Yeah. Man, I think Joe
Um,
Burrow is gonna be something. It's crazy we're not talking about Justin Herbert. You know what
yeah, I
I'm saying?
know. But I mean, maybe
Yeah,
next season. I don't know. He had a hard year this year.
yeah. Injuries hit him hard, but they still were competitive though. That was a good thing. And then it's the AFC. AFC got tougher this year
Yeah. So I mean,
with all the players that jumped ship on the NFC side, not because necessarily they wanted to, but because of all the trades and things that happened in the season. So that was something that you
so
know,
Herbert kind of got lost in the shuffle with everybody else when those
yeah,
four separate themselves. Well, when Jalen Hurt, not Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes separate themselves from the rest of the AFC. Justin Herbert kind of got lost in the shuffle, but there's no doubt that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC currently. And
Man, I'm looking like Jalen Hurts when you get Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson another season under their belt. These are two rookies.
yeah,
Romeo Dobbs didn't. He was one of the guys that I picked to be impact rookie, and he was impact for a few weeks throughout the season. But then Christian Watson comes in and does what he does with all of the flaws in his game. He made up for the flaws with um, the ability to get open. He made up for the flaws with his speed, and he made up for some of the flaws with his possession ability, like being able to like literally get open, catch the ball. And I remember one play I saw. I forgot what game it was, but I saw it was one of the games where Aaron Rodgers was injured, and oh my God, was it Love? Yeah, I started talking about Green Bay, but I'm looking at the Green Bay players. I mean, I hope Aaron Rodgers gets traded to somebody. You
no,
know,
he's going.
I
He's
know he's
going.
not. You think he's going to the Jets?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can talk on that one next season. When the next season on
yeah.
WGTL, we'll be talking about that when free agency
Yeah,
kicks
but I'm
off.
sorry. I spun off on Jordan Love instead of Jalen Hurts, but Jordan Love, man, that's who I'm looking forward to seeing next season. Um,
Definitely.
I'm as far as the Super Bowl goes, and as far as the Eagle goes, I think Jalen Hurts, man, time of possession, game management, and penalties. As long as they can manage that, and I'm talking about game management in respect of the running game being consistent. Everybody knows what that passing attack can do. But the other aspects of the game with special teams and the running game and the offense is going to dictate, I think, this Super Bowl what happens
Yeah,
with the
we'll
Eagles.
get to that prediction in a bit shortly.
Yeah.
Um,
When was the last year they won?
do
What
what?
year was it? I said, what year was that they won
Uh,
the Super Bowl? 2019
I
or
think so.
2000?
18 or 19.
Let's see.
I think. Hold on, let me look right quick.
I got it. Yep. So
18.
it was 2017. It was a
Yeah, 2017
2017 season.
season.
Yeah. Um. So that's not bad. It's 6 years.
And you had a Super Bowl team, you tore it down, you rebuilt it, arguably better than it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so.
And this team, not that it's going to be a dynasty, but I mean, it's going to be in the playoffs at least for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially depending on what the rest of the East does this year, because would Cowboys blow up their team?
They need to.
Will they? Will they? Will they keep Zeke or will they let Zeke go? Is Pollard gonna come back healthy from his last injury? Um, is Jerry Jones gonna let his management staff, his player personnel, his general manager actually do their jobs? I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing their jobs, but he's a real hands-on. So is he gonna do something like junk up stuff? Will OBJ be a cowboy? You know what I'm saying? Because they got a pretty nice wide receiver core, and everybody mocked them for getting rid of Amari Cooper. Everybody did. All of us did.
Yeah, but I don't think the
Because
Cowboys really suffered after getting rid of him now.
no, they didn't. They didn't. Michael Gallup did pretty decent this year.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't think the
CD
Cowboys have
Lamb,
issues.
man, CD Lamb became a stud.
The
I mean,
Cowboys have one issue, and his name is Dak Prescott, and they need to figure that out.
you know what, man?
Yeah, I said it.
I want to try to defend him,
You
but
can.
me with my novice thought process and just my I'm not an expert on the passing game. in no form or fashion. Not expert on football. I just love football. But if I can see that he has a habit of throwing into coverage when there's open, he, he don't go through his reads. Let me just say
No,
it like that. He does not go through his reads. He, I
definitely
think
not.
some of it might be shell shock. The other parts of it might be just like I'm gonna try to get it through there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely
And
not.
because by any means, any stretch of the imagination, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think that there is something that causes him to say, "I can do this." You know, just go out there, play, have fun. You know, he's a good quarterback. There's a couple of
I think
quarterbacks
he
I would
just
take
lets him
him
stress
over.
it. Yeah, I think he just stresses himself out too much.
Yeah.
Um, so let's go down some more of these honors rewards. Defensive Player of the Year. The finalists are Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, and Micah Parkins. Parsons. Yeah.
Don't
Sorry,
get
I
his name
butchered,
wrong.
butchered
Logan
it.
gonna come on here some from somewhere and jank you up. You know how he loves his Cowboys and his Jaguars.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Jaguars.
So defensive that's the defensive finalist. I mean, Nick Bosa probably. Chris Jones has done incredible with the Chiefs. I can see any of those three winning that.
I think Nick Bosa gets it just
Yeah.
because San Francisco was one of the best, if not best defense to play this whole
And he's the
season.
leader of that
Also,
defense.
yeah, um, regardless of what happened in the playoffs, I mean, and the Eagles like totally exposed these dudes, exposed holes in the 49ers. Yeah,
Let's be honest, though, the 49ers didn't have a quarterback.
no, they did not. They did not because you didn't even realize that Purdy was hurt the way he was hurt.
Yeah.
So you weren't able to
I don't
really.
think they're
I mean,
exposed. I think what happened was when they were losing and then the tempers flew. And once you're losing, you don't want to lose, especially if you expect to be in the Super Bowl.
right?
There's no question the 49ers deserve to be in the Super Bowl as much as the Eagles do.
Yeah.
Um,
So I got a question
hmm,
since you brought that up. So do you think Eagles are still in the Super Bowl if the 49ers had a healthy Brock Purdy?
yeah.
You
I
think they're
think the
still in
game's
it?
a lot closer, but I think ultimately the lights are too big for the too bright for the rookie. The Eagles are just on something special this year. They're a team of they're what they call a team of destiny. I mean, they have a chance to. Oh God, give me. They have a chance to
I'm
go
a
to the Super Bowl.
survivor. I'm not going.
Yeah,
Oh wait, you said team of destiny, not
yeah,
destiny.
team of destiny. What
Okay.
they call team of
Um,
destiny. There's no doubt that they're here. Everything just played in their hands. The universe led them that way. Um,
all right. So what you got? Offensive player of
Offensive
the
player
year.
of the year. They have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes. Since Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win MVP,
I say give it to Jefferson, dude.
give it to Jefferson or Tyreek Hill.
I say no, man. No, no, no. I don't say. I don't give it to Tyreek Hill because you look at Tyreek Hill and you got Waddle. You got Hill and Waddle on the Dolphins squad. And then you got a plethora of running backs. But then you look at the Vikings and you got Jefferson. And Jefferson is the heir apparent number one wide receiver for that team. And because he's the number one, he's drawing all the attention, whereas Tyreek Hill is not drawing all the attention because Waddle's got some of the attention and vice versa. Whereas Jefferson's got all the attention, and the tight ends don't draw the attention on the Vikings team that Jefferson draws. The running backs, I mean, Dalvin Cook does draw attention, but at the same time, he it's Jefferson that pulls away the attention depending on what play they're calling that
Yeah.
allows, yeah. and I'm not saying that the same doesn't happen when the attention goes to Jefferson, but I think everybody focuses on stopping Justin Jefferson in order to stop Minnesota. And you look at some of the games that they played this season, and that's been the situation. But at the same time, you also see that when they lose games, it's because they're not putting the ball in Jefferson's hands. So I think
And at that
Jefferson should
point,
be
I
the first.
mean, that's good enough reason to make him offensive rookie of the year.
Okay,
Because
offensive player
without
of the
him,
year.
when he's not on the top of his game, they are not moving the ball. Is that
So
what you're
offensive
saying?
player of the year, yeah, I think offensive player of the year is Justin Jefferson for real.
Agreed. All right, we got about 7 minutes to do this and Super Bowl predictions. We're going to
Okay,
do some
so I
one
got a
take.
question.
Yo,
Who's your defense? I mean your offensive rookie of the year?
offensive rookie. The finalists they got on here is Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, and Garrett Wilson, which I don't see why Brock Purdy is even on that list. I get what he did, and he went undefeated until he got to the Eagles, but we're talking a 49ers team that, I mean, not anybody can play quarterback, but it's such a quarterback friendly system that it's not hard for them to be successful. I don't take nothing from Brock Purdy. I think he's going to be, I think he's a decent quarterback. I haven't seen enough of him to be consider him rookie of the year, though. Especially when you had a year with Garrett Wilson and Kenneth Walker, Chris Olave, Drake London, and all these other guys been dominating the headlines up until Brock Purdy took over as quarterback. And I honestly believe the only reason they consider him for rookie of the year is because he's a quarterback and he was winning.
So you saying because of position
Yeah.
is his? Yeah. I can see
Because
him
if
on the
all the
list.
other rookie quarterbacks was
For,
as good as he was this year, then they would be in consideration for this too. But they weren't.
yeah,
So
and
with
then I
that being
think
said, I think Kenneth Walker should get the offensive rookie of the year. I know Garrett Wilson did great. I know Chris Olave did really good. I know Drake London changed that team, being the new number one over there. Um, and all of that. But Kenneth Walker basically when he started and like early in the season, Seattle just he's part of the reason why Seattle made the what did they make? They made the playoffs, didn't they? Or they came really close to making the
yeah, yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, I thought they did. They made
I
it to the
think they
wild
did
card.
too. And so it's I mean Kenneth Walker deserves rookie of the year offensively. And defensive rookie of the year, it should be obvious, but Ezra, go ahead.
I think defensive rookie of the year goes to none other than Sauce Gardner, man.
Without
Sauce
argument.
Gardner has, I mean, Sauce Gardner, and you can argue Aiden Hutchinson for Detroit, but Detroit's defense was just atrocious. Where the Jets
For the
defense,
majority of the season, they were atrocious.
yeah, for the majority, right. And that's not to say that Aiden Hutchinson didn't do his thing, but um, and what's my dude in? I don't want to forget my dude. Is it Taylor in Jacksonville?
Yeah,
He did his thing too, but neither here nor there. It's just like Sauce Gardner came out, and we liken this dude to Daryl Reeves, who just happened to be one of the best Jets cornerbacks to ever play, and one of the best cornerbacks to play. I'm not saying he's Deion Sanders or anything like that, but Sauce Gardner, the way he came in, man, the dude garnered attention from the likes of a Deion Sanders, the likes of a Darrell Reeves, the likes of a Ed Reed, who was a safety but still recognizing the DB position. I mean, just the the attention, and I'm going to use something that Jalen Ramsey said, or no, it wasn't Jalen Ramsey that said it. It was oh man, I forgot I was watching an interview with all these DBs at the table. Deion Sanders was one of them out there. But either way, one of the defensive backs that was on at the table said that I feel like a good day of football is when nobody wants to throw the ball your way. When nobody wants to throw the ball your direction and you're a rookie
that says
because
a
they
lot.
look at you. That's respect. And when you get the respect of offensive coordinators, you get the respect of wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, even that are a part of the passing game. When you're getting different stunts and routes and stuff to try to hide what the offense is doing to keep you off kilter, and you're a rookie. Get that man that award, man. Call it a
Agreed.
day.
100% all day of Sauce Gardner. I don't think there's anybody in the NFL or anybody who's fans like us that argue he deserves that. We do have more rewards to cover. Comeback player of the year, coach of the year, assistant coach, all that. We're running out of time, so we're not going to get to those. So I mean, if we could,
I thought you was gonna do a fire 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 round. Coach of the year.
coach of the year, I'm gonna take Sean Mc. I'm gonna take Doug Peterson for Jacksonville. My
You gonna
opinion.
take Doug Peterson?
Yeah,
I take Detroit Campbell. I think that's Campbell in Detroit, right?
yeah.
All right.
Campbell,
Who else you got? What else you got?
assistant coach of the year. I guess the DeMarco Ryans.
D'Amico Ryan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
DeMeco Ryans 49ers DC because
I'm gonna argue that one. I'm
huh?
not gonna argue that. But I will say assistant let's see, assistant head coach or defensive coordinator of the year should
He's a
be
head coach now of Houston.
yeah, go ahead, man.
And then real
Cool
quick,
to see him
comeback player of the year. You can't give it to anybody
back
else
play.
but Saquon Barkley.
Oh yeah, I'm agreement with you. Saquon Barkley dude come back
I
and
mean,
do
I
the
know
thing.
Chris McCaffrey is a finalist for it, but Saquon Barkley was just that dude this year.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley and both of them mean about the same thing to their but you got to trade. You ended up getting traded to a team in the middle of,
Yeah,
and you can't argue with the stuff that CMC did. But Saquon is with the same team, and he was like one of the best backs throughout the whole league. I mean, throughout the whole season in the league. So yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
definitely.
Yeah. What else you
All
got?
right, that's it. That's all I got. We have less than a minute. Super Bowl prediction.
Super Bowl prediction. I'm going Kansas City by 6.
Taking the Eagles by 10.
Okay.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Welcome to the League Sports Show Podcast. Season 1 is officially over.
Over.
And I'm Beanie.
I'm Ezra.
And until next season, deuces.
Deuces.